Welcome to day 3. We're talking about the real reason change doesn't stick or hasn't stuck for you in the past. We're going to reveal what that means today in this 5-part series. If you are just joining for the very first time and you're like, who is this woman? What is she talking about? Let me fill you in. I'm Carrie Schwer. I'm the founder of Great Tonic and the Decide Method, and I want to share with you today all about change. We have been talking the last few days about change and what it means when you are stuck in a gray area. Day 1 was, what are the gray areas that we have in our life? That's what I talk about. That's what I coach on. We have multiple gray areas, whether it's inside of our business, which there are plenty, inside of our habits, like drinking, overeating, scrolling on your phone, using distractions. We have multiple gray areas with our habits. Also, we can have gray areas rather in our relationships. What about your significant other, your spouse, your kids, your family, whoever that is, maybe friends or colleagues, where the communication isn't where it needs to be, and there's this huge disconnect that happens? Where are those gray areas? What about inside your health? How are you feeling about yourself? Do you have lack of energy? Are you not sleeping well? Are you eating good, nutritious foods? We have gray areas inside of our health. When was the last time you had your labs checked? We talked about that. We really need to be clear on where those gray areas are hiding in our lives. And I have to tell you that we do have them. By the way, let me just check my mic really quick because I have a feeling that the wrong mic is on. Nope, we got the right mic. Okay. Sorry about that. Little tech error there. I wanted to make sure we're okay. So we can have multiple gray areas. And it's what I'm asking you to do this week with me for you is to be willing to take out this big spotlight and shine it on your gray areas. And while it feels uncomfortable, because it is uncomfortable, it will start to show you some things about yourself that you may not have really realized. And more importantly, what it's costing you. What is costing you by ignoring these gray areas that you have in your life? And that, my friend, is why I'm doing these lives every day this week. We started with what are the gray areas. Yesterday is we talked a lot about the change that we need, which starts with a desire, having a desire to want to make that change. And who are you right now? Who are you right now? We talked about identifying who that is. Who do you say that you are? Who do you believe that you are? And then we also talked about needing this change, having the desire to have this change, whatever that is in these gray areas, and also exploring the reason why you would want to change it. Understanding your why is crucial. And we want to go 5 layers deep with that. And so yesterday, some of my homework to you, my suggestion to you, so if you haven't seen day 2, go back and watch the replay, go watch day 1's replay as well. I suggested yesterday that you journal about who you believe that you are today. How would you describe yourself? Right? And then what could possibly get in your way if you want to make a change? Let's say you have an issue with your marriage and you've been brushing this under the rug for a long time. But I got to tell you, you and I both know that if it doesn't get resolved, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you one way or the other. So it's better to address these things when you can before you no longer have a choice. The gray areas are choices. You get to be there or not. So my hope and my prayer for you is that you are willing to do some of this work with me during this week while we're doing these lives. Even if you're watching on the replay, by the way, if you are, please drop a comment. Let me know you were here. Just hit the like button just so I know that you were here. That would be really great. I'm going live right now. So either you're watching me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or YouTube, one of those 3 channels. Go ahead and like and put a comment below so I know that you're here. That would be awesome. But understanding what those gray areas are for you are going to be crucial. So hang in there with me, okay? Today, we're going to be shifting a little bit. Yesterday, we talked about having that desire and knowing what that resistance is. Because if there's any resistance to having any sort of shift, if you don't want your marriage to improve, if you don't want to work on your habits like drinking too much, if you are in a career that just is nowhere and you're not being fulfilled, and the purpose that you have for your life is not being fulfilled, and you don't want to have that change, what is that resistance? You have to be able to identify it. We're going to take all of that over the last 2 days. And today we're going to focus on why change hasn't been working for you. Why hasn't it been sticking for you? And here's the reason why. We're going to continue with the DECIDE method, which is my methodology that I've helped hundreds and hundreds of clients with and through with myself. The D is having that desire for a change. The E is exploring your why. Today, we are focusing on the C and the I. The C, my friend, is commitment to self. When you want to have a change in your life, when you want to see something improve, when you want to be able to do something different and get a better result, because that's the name of the game. Otherwise, it's living in insanity when we're doing the same thing and expecting different result and getting the same thing over and over again. That's insanity. We've all heard that phrase before, right? We need a new commitment. That commitment is a daily active decision. Look at that. The word decide, there it is again. It's a daily active decision. We need to decide what we want for our life. And when we commit 100% to what it is that we want, and we talked about that yesterday too, maybe you don't know what you want, but you do know what you don't want. So if you want something different, you have to be committed to that change. And that means going all in. It's a daily active decision every single day. You have to be all in. If you have the slightest bit of a backdoor opening that you can slither out of when times get tough, or you're not 100% committed, or you just don't feel like it that day, it's not going to work. This, my friend, is why change doesn't last for a lot of people. This is why it doesn't last. And that's why today is day 3, the real reason change doesn't stick. It's because you're not fully committed, or you haven't been fully committed in the past. And you know what? That's in the past. We get to look forward, move forward from here. How do we move forward? We are going to be talking about the number one reason that keeps you stuck, and that is who you believe you are. I teased this yesterday about your identity, and today we're going to focus on that. So the C in the DECIDE method is commitment to self. The I is identity shift. We must be willing to move in to the new version of ourselves that we want to see this change in. And the reason why you may have been stuck all this time is because the old identity of your stories, your beliefs, your limiting beliefs, the rules that you have for your life, and the laws that you've had for your life all make up this frame in which you live. If we put yourself in a box and you're inside this frame, that frame of who you believe you are has been made up of all of these things: your beliefs about yourself, the stories that you've created about yourself over and over again. How many times have you said, that's just who I am? That's just how it's always been. I'm just the guy who drinks. I'm just the lady who has to shop and feel like I need to splurge on myself. I'm just the one who everyone is depending on because I support everyone. I can't possibly discontinue doing that. That's just what I do. That's who I am. The things that we say about ourselves is the reason why you're here. So I want you to think about the language that you use to describe yourself and the language that you have described yourself in the past, because there's clues there. And those clues are that if we look at how your life is, if I never met you and I saw some parts of your life, even for 5 minutes, if we had a conversation, I can see and hear what you're saying. I can start to dissect rather what it is that's going on in your life based on your languaging and what you believe about yourself. There's clues. It leaves clues. And yesterday I said your who affects your do. and your do reflects your who. So what you do on a daily basis, your daily habits, which by the way is tomorrow, and what you do with those habits every day, the things, the actions that you take end up in a result. So if you don't like the way things are right now, here's the reason. If you don't like the way things are right now, you must be willing to shift your identity to the person that you want to be. Number one, you have to be fully committed. You have to know your why. You have to have the desire and know what those resistances are to that desire to make this shift. And you have to be willing to step into that identity right now, today. And when you're able to do that, I promise you, life starts to open up in bigger ways. I want to share a real story with you. This is one of my clients, a former client. He said to me multiple times, Carrie, I am the party guy. There's no way I'm going to be able to go to the golf course. Plus my business, he worked in sales. We have conferences all over the country. And every time I go to one of these conferences, it's expected of me to drink. I take everyone out. Then we go to the golf course and we have drinks there. Everyone knows that I'm the drinker. Like I'm the party guy. I'm the one who gets everybody together. I'm the one who closes deals over drinks. How am I possibly going to do my job effectively if I'm not partaking in drinking? Okay. I just want you to hear that, what I said. How does that land for you? Are you saying, yeah, that sounds like me. I totally get it. Or, wow, I can't believe somebody would think that they wouldn't be successful if they weren't drinking. Well, here's the truth, okay? The truth is, pardon me, I got some hair on me. The truth is that you absolutely can have your words affect your outcome. So the fact that he said, but this is who I am, this is what is expected of me, that was his outcome, that was his results. He had to make a decision. He had to understand what that was, the resistance right there. Knowing that other people might say something to him if he wasn't drinking. That's the resistance. What will they think of me? Will I be able to do such a good job? Will I be favored? Will people want to still hang out with me? Will I play golf as good if I'm not drinking? I mean, I'm being serious. These are some of the things that were popping up for him. So we have to be able to identify what that resistance is and know that, is it about others or is this about you? Because you know what? Your 20 minutes of drinking affects multiple other areas in your life, including his marriage, including his children, including how he's showing up truly for himself at work, and his health. He had gained 15 pounds over the last few years. He was feeling very sluggish and tired. His energy had been depleted. So this one habit of drinking and this tied identity of that's just who I am, and I've always been that person since high school, has shown up in ways all through his life, affected his marriage in not a good way, affected his relationship with his children not in a good way, greatly impacted his sleep and his mental clarity and his energy. And I said, let's talk about why you're so afraid of adopting this new identity. Who would you possibly be if you became the non-drinker? Well, let me tell you something. He started to adopt that mentality and started adopting that languaging and started becoming that person before he was even there. And can I tell you, his entire life improved and shifted in every one of those areas. His relationship with his kids greatly improved. His wife had her husband back. The man that she married, the man that she fell in love with, not the guy who was not giving her any attention, not the guy who wasn't having deep, meaningful conversations with her. His health improved. He's like, I can't believe I'm sleeping this well. I didn't even realize what was missing. I had another client describe it as like lifting this veil or like being out of a fog, like you're in the movie Wizard of Oz when it's, you're in black and white and then all of a sudden you're living in vivid color. That's what it's like when you're in the gray and you get out of the gray. Life becomes so clear. For the first time, you can see very, very clearly. And I want you to think about that for you in your life. Where are those gray areas hiding? Where are you willing to adopt being a different person than you have been? If you want a different result, my friend, we got to be willing to know the desire, identify that resistance, know who you are today so we can make better choices moving forward, knowing what your why is, exploring your why to a deep, deep level, going 5 layers deep. Really, really important here. Journaling all that out so you can see it on paper, so you can see the facts in front of you, having that deep commitment to yourself with no backdoor, no 98% committed. We're going all in here at 100% because when you're 100% committed, it's when we make some significant changes. And then having that identity shift. And right there, I just gave you the D, the E, the C, and the I in the word decide for the decide method. This is the recipe for success. You want to level up at work? Go through the decide method with me. You want to be a better spouse? Use the decide method. You want to work on a habit like drinking or another habit? Go through the decide method with me. And when you implement all of these together, you will have change, especially if you're in a group program, if you have accountability, if you have somebody that is holding you accountable, that is strengthening you as you go through it, that's edifying you and supporting you and encouraging you, you will do it. You will do it. Sometimes we just need a program. We need structure. We need to have a method that's proven that works. And when you have that, you can make significant progress. So I want to recap and bring this all together. Okay. We talked about the D. We talked having the desire. We talked about the exploring your why, having the commitment to self, needing that identity shift. And now I want to share with you something that I know will help you greatly. This is my website, greatonic.com. Starting next Tuesday on April 1st, I'm launching for the second time, the second cohort of a brand new program called Decide 30. It is a 30-day group program. It is for high-performing leaders, executives, people in a position that want to level up, that you know you have some blind spots that you need to work on. And again, whether that's with a relationship with alcohol, that was my story. That was one of my gray areas. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's your career. Maybe you're not sure about your career. You're not sure if you're in the right position. You're just not sure about it. Maybe it's how you feel about your health or your spirituality connection. The last cohort, we had everything in there except for drinking, right? Which is kind of funny for me because all my group programs have been solely on drinking. This is the first one that we're going out a little bit broader to hit multiple gray areas. Why? Because most of the people that have worked with me in the past came to me for drinking, which was about this much of our coaching. And the rest of it was all the other gray areas that were impacted from the drinking or the reason why they were drinking in the first place. So drinking's not your thing. If you're like, I don't have a problem with drinking, but there's some other form of gray area that you want to work on. Like I said, whether it's something with another habit or health or a relationship or something inside your career. I'm an executive trained lifestyle coach. I'm able to help you in those areas as well with leadership, communication, struggling to find clarity, whatever that looks like, this program will help you. Decide 30. It's less than $500. It's $497. You'll get me every single day in a support channel called Voxer. You will have me every single week on a Zoom call. And guess what? The month of April, there's an extra bonus week. So 5 calls. You'll be in a supportive group with other like-minded individuals just like you that are there to level up, there to work on their gray areas, that want to take this seriously, that are ready to go through the Decide method. If that's you, this program is for you. And if you're not quite there yet, that's okay too. I want you to be ready because if you're not 100% committed to making a change and you're not ready, okay, okay. Hopefully, you'll get something out of these lives that you'll say, you know what? I'm so glad I got to hear what the decide method was because I'm going to be able to apply it. And if that's you, great. Because here's what I do know. If you are limping through life, you're not leading. You're not leading. If you're just getting by and you're existing, you're not thriving. Most of my clients are middle age, 40 and above. And let me tell you, the clock is ticking. There's not a whole lot of time left. And in my world, I'm all about what can we do to optimize every part of our life so we can be fully capable of addressing anything that comes our way. How strong can we be internally? How strong can we be in every area of our life, all core 4 areas of our life? How strong can we possibly be? How optimized can we get so we can handle anything that comes our way? And that's why I do what I do. And I hope that you will consider joining me for Decide 30 that starts April 1st. And if group programs aren't your thing, I would love to talk to you about working one-on-one. I love working one-on-one with my clients as well. And I have a mastermind. So if mastermind is your gig, check it out. You can call me or go to my website, schedule a call. We'll have that call directly. And there's information on the page about the Ascend 10 mastermind, which is application only. So we'll definitely have to have a call. So there's a couple ways that you can work with me, but Decide 30 is a really good program to try it out, to see my coaching style, to see if this is the kind of work that you want to be doing or not. But doing nothing, by the way, is still a decision. What I'm asking you to do today is take a stand for yourself, decide for you what it is that you want. Just make a decision. Yes or no. That's it. I want you to be able to decide for yourself. And I know this method will help you. Thank you so much for joining. Listen, tomorrow we're going to cover the last D and the last E, which is, well, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tease it out. We're going to cover the D and the E tomorrow. Show up tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. And then Friday, we're going to recap it all. And I'm going to reveal a little special for you as we go live on Friday at 12 noon. So this is all Eastern Daylight Savings Time, by the way. I hope you'll join me. I hope you found this to be helpful today and truly has been inspirational for you. I really want this to land. And if you're just taking out some tidbits from this live, I am so happy to hear that because truly I want you to be able to identify your resistance, know what your desire is, having your why so solidified because that's going to be your anchor as you move forward. Anytime you get knocked off your rocker, because it will happen, something's going to come along that's going to try to knock you back down again. Your why is your anchor. So knowing what that why is, exploring your why 5 layers deep, having that 100% commitment, and be willing to have that identity shift. Listen, it's not your fault that you've been living a certain way, but it is now your responsibility that you know, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can't unsee it. So join me tomorrow as we conclude, or we start to finish up the Decide method. And then Friday, I have a little something special for you. So stay with me. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for watching today. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Have a beautiful day ahead. Thanks for watching. Bye.